people that are out there that you would overlook possibly, give them a chance.
Won't they treat you like a queen?
They would potentially treat you like a queen.
Welcome to another episode of Unhinged, where we talk all things dating. And one of the most popular things that we hear from people is that they are so sick and tired of the dating apps. You know, so we're finding some other options for you.
I mean, whether it's the fatigue, right, of just constantly going through the action of swiping and messaging, getting left on red, leaving people on red, whatever it is, they feel like work sometimes. That's what I've heard.
They do, but also it's like, okay, once you meet up with somebody in real life, was their profile really reflective of the person that you're meeting? That can also be really exhausting. You're expecting one thing, but you're getting another. I'm Alicia Quarles.
I'm Les Mahachek.
I'm Savannah Rudisell. None of us are catfish.
No.
We're real.
None of us are catfish. That's right. But also, you know, one of the things that people really struggle with is vetting people when they're going on dates as well. And we have somebody who can do that for us. So we've got Lori Burzak. She is the Carolina's matchmaker. It's so great to have you here with us today, Lori. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
So to start us off, tell us a little bit about how matchmaking actually works, because I think that people kind of think of this as like something of the past, but this is something that people are really leaning towards, especially with this dating app fatigue.
Yes. And listen, we always need to learn from history. So the past is not a bad thing, right? I mean, it's been around for centuries, matchmaking. So, backstory, I have my master's in social work. I've been doing this for 20 years now. So I have heard every story under the sun. Okay. Let's just be clear. Once in a blue moon, I'll be surprised. But people are exhausted from the online dating apps. And when they come to me, first of all, it's free to submit a profile on my website. It's confidential. And if you're a match for one of my current clients, then you could receive a complimentary introduction. So no risk there. Okay. Zero risk. But when people hire me, essentially what I'm doing is I am recruiting, screening, matching them, coaching them, and hopefully getting them into a relationship. That's the goal here. But people learn so much throughout the entire process about themselves, about their attachment styles, about what they're doing on dates that may or may not be resonating with the people they're meeting. But most of all, getting them in front of the right kinds of people that you just don't always have an opportunity to do when you're on the apps.
That's right. Okay, matchmaking is really an art form. Sometimes it's passed down generation to generation. So when did you realize that this was your calling?
Well, I was in my, I guess it was about 20 years ago now. I was in the grocery store and I ran into a friend of mine who was going through a divorce, and she was literally crying there, you know, next to the cantaloupes. And I was like, what is going on? And she's like, I'm getting a divorce. I'm so sad. And I started to think about how can I actually help her find someone? And the dating apps had just kind of started out, but she wasn't going to get on the dating app. She had like 2 young kids and it just wasn't her vibe. So I started to think about my personal network. I read a book about matchmaking. I met a couple people and I matched them up. They ended up falling in love and the bug was there. I'm in love with the idea of being in love and connecting people with love. So it's really, it's like I go on a journey with my client and it's the most uplifting experience.
That had to be such a thrill for you.
Oh, yeah.
When your
Every
first couple
time.
works out.
Every
Every time
time.
since then.
Literally the other day, snow day here in Charlotte, I ran into one of my couples with their 2 little children, they're toddlers at the grocery store.
Nice.
First, I admired the little boy who was pushing his buggy and it was filled up with lots of groceries. And I was like telling my husband, I'm like, look how cute. And then I look up, it's my clients, literally. I mean, it was phenomenal. And I was just, it made my day, I have to tell you. It's the biggest thrill for me, especially these young couples that fall in love and start families. But then the older couples are also amazing. Like the 60-year-olds who report to me that they've never felt this kind of love before.
Gosh.
And I'm like, okay, I have chills right now as I'm fired.
Yeah, me too.
It's definitely my calling.
Do you have like a typical age range for people who reach out to you on your client list, or are you all over the map?
I'm all over the map. Now, not everybody can afford, an investment, hiring a matchmaker. And they're like, well, I don't really want to spend money on this kind of thing. And I give them pointers. And, sometimes people will hire me for an hour and I'll just do like a full on assessment of new ways they can start meeting people organically, because that's kind of the idea, is really kind of trying to get yourself out there and just change it up so they can try new things. And it's possible to do it that way.
So you're the Carolina matchmaker. All of us are from different areas, and of us are native to Charlotte. But I just knew when I moved to Charlotte, I was going to meet my husband. I haven't met anybody. So is dating in Charlotte very different from other areas?
I don't think so. And I'm hearing that from everyone everywhere. And all the matchmakers report exactly the same thing. Yeah. everybody says it's hard wherever they are. It's very hard in New York City to meet, even though you would think that with such a population. Are you from the city?
Yeah, I'm from New York City, and I was telling Savannah, it's Peter Pan boys.
It's those boys who don't want to grow up.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I hear the same thing here sometimes. But you have to know it only takes one. And don't give up, but you do also have to get off of your couch. And I do a lot of joking about that on my Instagram. But you need to get off the couch and you need to put yourself in different situations where you're going to meet people.
Right.
So change it up. I mean, go try an intramural rec league, start talking to more people just out and about, have a friend and invite other people. Have a friends invite people of the opposite sex to a party concept where you're meeting friends of friends. I think people aren't socializing as much as they used to. Even when I go to a brewery, people are clumped up with their friends. Yeah. Nobody's talking to each other.
Yeah,
right?
People don't want to.
It's COVID.
Yeah,
things have changed.
Yeah.
So that's the dynamic that I'm noticing. So you really got to put yourself out there.
You do, and you mentioned your Instagram, and something that I love is the posts that you put out there where it's the matchmaker alert. Is that what you call them?
Yes.
I love them. Tell me about this. And also I want to hear about the success that you see from this, because I always see people on there commenting, they're tagging their friends, or they're like, me, or it's some mom being like, oh, you got to match her up with my son. You need to meet my son. Like, it's so fun. So tell us about these.
Yeah, people are definitely forwarding these matchmaker alerts because you know what? It's real. I literally have these people and I need to match them up. So it's a call out. It's a call of action to say, if you're a potential match for one of my clients or someone who is, have them fill out a profile. They could get a complimentary introduction and we could match you up and we're done. I just recently did a lucky bachelor contest and I matched him up. Like they are literally dating.
Oh my gosh, dating?
Real dating. Multiple times in multiple weeks. And I'm like, okay. Because I was thinking about him for one of my other clients. I'm like, I think we're done with him.
And what's Lucky Bachelor mean? What is this?
I did like a contest. I was like, let's stir things up. And we partnered with Monday Night Brewing. And so they contributed like $100 towards, a date going there. And I put out a submission for any men that are interested in being my lucky bachelor. And I got a bunch, but there was one guy that really stood out to me. And so I interviewed him. I'm like, this is it. So I did a matchmaker alert on him. And then I had a ton of submissions and I chose one of them for him. And then we made the match. They went out on that date and it was a hit. And they've been dating ever since.
Love to hear it.
So, I mean, that's the idea here. Like, let's let community. And it's funny because my master's in social work was community organization. So let's let community fill in here, help the matchmaker. I get hundreds of applicants for all of my matchmaker alerts that I do. No matter what, no matter who, I always do.
So how do you science behind it?
Yeah, how do you start to go through?
So, I mean, obviously, I know what my client is looking for physically. So I'm looking at photos. People need to submit, pictures of themselves, but I'm looking at age ranges. I'm looking at religion. I'm looking at politics. I'm looking at all the different things about them to see, do they have some things in common? The foundational elements need to be there, all of them. So there's a couple of really core ones. And then do they have a couple of interests in common? And then, other things, because people don't want to date their twin. They want to date somebody that they're like excited about learning from. Right. That's what is exciting about it being in a new relationship is what can I learn from them? How can that person bring like a whole new element into my life?
Perfect. Well, Lori, you're fascinating. You're exciting. We're going to have more from you after the break.
Okay.
Welcome back to Unhinged. We are with Lori, aka the Carolina Matchmaker. You have been a matchmaker for so long. Okay, let's talk about pros and cons. What's the number one thing you think people are doing wrong besides people like me not getting off the couch? What else should we be doing?
Oh, that's a great question. I think that people are not always communicating well in between dates 1 and 2 and getting to the next date. And if people are online dating, they're not actually asking the person out soon enough. Then people get tired. That's where a lot of the fatigue comes in. But a lot of times people are also not making the time to be dating. Like they've got full social lives and they're like, well, I'm busy for the next week and a half. Or they're professionals and they're traveling. Or they're just tired until 8 o'clock at night because they're really working hard and they're going to the gym and whatever. And then they're like, I don't feel like going out tonight. Or I'm only going to save it for the weekends. And then honestly, they want to hang out with their friends more than they want to go on a first date.
Yeah.
So I know I just threw out a lot.
They're saying it's our fault.
I
don't want to hear that.
I don't want it to be
I was like, true.
Sorry.
Tick.
So are you saying that too? In order to really find love and kind of go after what you're looking for, you have to dedicate some time and some effort to this?
You do. It's like a part-time job. That's literally why people hire me. They're like, I just want you to vet people and set up the date. And it's so easy. We call our clients up. We're like, okay, we've got a date for you. When are you free? And they're like, great, let's go. And all they have to worry about is what they're going to put on their bodies and, for the women, do their hair and makeup and get to the date and then do the feedback session. So think about all the time that is saved, without having to be on the apps, messaging back and forth, running your own background checks, because I do that for my clients.
Oh, yes. Background
Check them out on
check.
social.
Thank you, Lori.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
No.
Should
believe me.
everybody, even if they don't have you, should we all be running background checks?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I use Truthfinder and Ben Verified for my clients just because, I've also worked with, PIs before, but those have it all, a lot of things. Now, sometimes it says unspecified on there. We don't know what it is. It could be a traffic ticket. But normally, if it's like a assault, God forbid, or something like that, it will be on that background check. 1,000% do a background check.
That is good. Especially, just for safety purposes.
Yeah,
as
you
well.
can run it from a phone number.
Yeah.
And you get the
that's
full
good to
name.
know.
Right. That's what I do for my clients.
Yeah,
they
that's
appreciate
amazing.
it.
Now, in terms of feedback, when people go on these dates, are you typically hearing, are there certain mistakes that a lot of people are making? And how do you broach that subject when you're kind of trying to coach people through this? If you're like, hey, there's this mistake that we keep hearing from your dates. Are there common things that you're hearing?
There's different things that people are doing on dates that aren't resonating. First of all, and this is like across the board, I don't recommend having more than one alcoholic beverage on a date. I know that's disappointing for some, but and I also know it's a social lubricant for many. And one should do it, because what happens is, especially if you're, petite or whatnot, if you have more than 2 drinks, you are toasty and you are saying stuff that you don't need to be saying on a first date.
A little too comfortable.
Yeah, a little too comfortable. And then sometimes people end up making out, and then they come back to me and the guy's like, she was into me, and she's like, I was not. Said a little too much wine.
Into my liquor, right?
And sometimes people forget to order food, and the woman or the man is hungry, but they don't feel, or they, it's just, eat something before you go on a date, no matter what. Because sometimes people take an hour before they order food, they're hungry and they're hangry, and it's not a great thing. I think that sometimes people talk about exes and former relationships on a first date. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
Don't do it. And if somebody tries to steer you in that direction, steer it away. You can just say to them this: listen, I'm an open book and I'm happy to talk to you about my relationship history. Let's save it for a future time. Tonight, I want to get to know you.
All right.
And then be done with it, because nobody wants to talk about things that are upsetting from the past. What does it matter? It's in the past. We're in the present, and we're in the now. If you've got kids, I think it's great to have a couple of succinct things that you can say about the children and close it out. We don't want to hear about little Johnny for 15 minutes and see all the soccer pictures. No. So, I've got a son, he's 4 years old. He loves to play soccer, and his teachers say he's a really creative writer. Done. Okay. And maybe one more thing if you have other kids, but just close it out. Yeah. Also, I don't think it's a problem to talk about like future things on a first date. Like, yeah, I'm looking forward to having a family one day. Is that something that's on your bucket list? Okay.
I like
what
that.
if they say no? Then they're not your person. If that is really important. It's not like you're like 10 steps ahead with, the relationship. It just means, what are your future goals? Like, what's on your bucket list? What do you want to see in your life? I always think it's a fun thing to talk about on a first date.
Where are the unique places to meet men in Charlotte? Because my girlfriends are like, you got to go to the grocery store late. But hand to God, I went to the grocery store late. I saw some fine men there. I was like, is this where they've been hiding out?
I know.
You're right.
So funny you say that, because I literally was at the Fresh Market recently, and I was like, okay, there are a lot of men walking around the Fresh Market. Yep. Now sometimes
your cars
at the Fresh Market. I'll send my husband grocery shopping though. So that's one thing I do not like to do. So don't be looking at
I got you.
But I was looking for rings on hands and not seeing them. So yes, men need to pick up something, between 5 and 6. Go for it. But I think join some clubs. If you're a churchgoer, like sign up for a Bible study. If you're an intramural kind of person, sign up for like a kickball league. You don't have to be like, very sporty in order to do something like that. but something where you're going to see the same people over and over and over again, where number one, you create friendships, and then eventually it can slowly turn into relationships. Because sometimes while you might go on a first date with somebody and not feel a vibe, it's not real. Not everybody feels that way on a first date. They're nervous. They've got a guard up. But if you're literally playing kickball in a league and 6-7 times you guys are going out for beer afterwards, you're like hanging out afterwards, there's a funny group text going on with different things going on. All of a sudden one day you look across the pile or whatever it's called and the base on kickball and you're like, he's kind of cute, you know?
He's on third base.
I sort of like him. I'm going to go to third base. That's right, Lori. That's right there.
One drink, Lori.
First base. I forgot the bases for a minute. But anyway, so I think that you need to give people a chance. Don't put so much emphasis on that first date. It's like not fair. So if you can create community and times where you're seeing people over and over and over again, you could probably create some new relationships, but you got to put the time in.
Wear them down a little bit.
Yeah,
I like it.
There you go.
Now, also, I just want to say we've got our single queen Alicia over here.
All right.
We were talking about this, the Bachelor, Bachelorette alert, like all the matchmaker alerts.
Yes.
And I was saying to Alicia, we've been talking to her. We're like, we need to get you on the apps and stuff so we can get you out there dating. But I feel like you are the key to success.
Yes.
So, how do we get her set up with you?
I'm ready.
We'll do that after this quick break.
And that's a tease.
Welcome back into Unhinged. We have Carolina's matchmaker here with us, and luckily, a willing victim.
Listen, Liza knows this. Vanna, you'll learn this. So let me just set it up for you, Lori.
Okay.
I'm 43.
Ready.
I'm divorced.
You're 43.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my caveat is I haven't dated.
Okay.
I've got 3-year-old twins. And I'm like, I don't know like what that looks like. Are guys going to be interested? Like, it's definitely my like, I'm on Raya.
Okay.
And it's like,
there aren't a lot of guys in Charlotte on Raya.
That part.
And you can't be traveling with little kids.
I can't be traveling. I'm on Raya for my former life when I lived in New York City without kids. So I'm like, this is like, it's time. It's time.
Okay.
Time to meet somebody.
All right. So first things first, you need to make sure that you carve out time to actually meet someone and have the infrastructure to be able to date.
Okay.
Meaning you need babysitters or friends that are going to watch the kids. So even in the future, if you want an overnight, you'll be able to do that. So I think that one thing that men are afraid of, honestly, and I'll hear this all the time, is does she have the time to carve out for a real relationship? And you can answer that question.
I do.
Now.
I
Do
do.
you have the time?
Friends and family are like, please date.
Okay.
We will watch this.
I was going to say, your sister, I know, will step in. She'll be like, get out there.
They are begging, like, please, please. They're afraid I'm going to be a spinster. And I'm like, oh.
Do we still use that term?
Yeah.
Are we still spinsters? Are we on the shelf
I don't
at this
think
point?
divorcees are spinsters. So. Yeah. There are people that have never been around. Here's what we do know to be true is that you've had a successful relationship. It did it, and it is over. But you've got 2 wonderful kids as a result.
Yes.
So something that a lot of women crave, especially women that come in their 30s to me and early 40s and really want to have their own biological kids or adopt or whatnot. So look at your blessings.
Okay, yeah.
Number one,
count our
right?
blessings.
You got to do that. And then get really clear on what you're really seeking. Okay. So are you looking for a professional and also expand your horizons.
Okay.
Like sometimes people are like, okay, I only want a guy that has a bachelor's degree, earns over 250. You know, he's got to be 6'2" because I like him tall because I like to wear my 4-inch heels. I'm like,
But it's like, girl, when you're
no.
Right. That part. That part.
So number one, women out there, be open to dating your own height.
Ooh.
I think that is such a good tip because I feel
really
like
is.
In recent years, I'm wondering if this has always been like this since you've been in this industry for quite some time. Has it always been this kind of obsession with height? Because I feel like it recently came about.
It's because of the apps. Because you could like literally say, I want a guy who's 5'9", or they're not going to put 5'9". They're going to put 5'11" or taller because it's their wish list. Okay. And then sometimes, you run through all your Bumble prospects and then they're like, would you like us to expand your filters? And they're like, yeah. Then they start showing you the men that are under 5'11".
Yeah, you're right.
And P.S. They're great guys. You know what I mean? Hello. I've matched up my 5'5" men. They're delightful. You know, it doesn't matter. I think that women have had this idea in their head that I need to be protected by a man. And obviously we're talking hetero here for everything. Right. But you know, you don't need to be protected because you are your own woman. You can make your own money. You can do your own things. Get over this like old archaic idea of somebody being bigger and being stronger. You can protect yourself in many ways, right? Go take some kind of
self-defense class.
Self-defense class. So maybe let go of some of those ideas that people have in their head. Also, women who are like, I need a man who's well-dressed.
No, I make them over, can't you?
You know what I mean?
Can you help them?
You can make them over. And sometimes the guys that don't know how to dress and are like a little like cool nerdy types, you know, even the IT men, you know, people that are out there that you would overlook possibly, give them a chance.
Won't they treat you like a queen?
They would potentially treat you like a queen. You don't need the stay away from the players or the hot dudes or
I love them.
The guys who think they're better than all, you know, the bad boys. We don't need them in our lives because you know what? You might be really attracted to them, but down the line they may stray.
Yeah.
So try to find just a good guy that's nice and normal and is sweet.
Now, Lori, I kind of want to close out with this.
Okay.
I know that you've got so many success stories from your matchmaking, but do you personally have a nightmare date or anything, you know, as an expert where you were like, wow, this was wild, you know, where you personally experienced it?
Oh, me personally experienced it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Or it can be something that you've heard.
Or one of your clients came back and was like, oh my God.
I was going to say, so I've been married for 31 years now and I met my husband in college.
Congratulations.
Listen, I definitely went on dates, but I didn't have any like crazy.
Nothing too crazy.
He was like my first like real relationship, honestly. I had like a couple before, but like he was like the real deal. So we just got lucky. But you know, a lot of communication through the years, let me tell you. So lots to parlay to my clients. I'll tell you one. I had a client. I got rid of him after this date. Actually said, "Here's your money back. Adios, dude."
Please leave.
Yeah. He was like commenting on the waiter's necklace. He kept saying, "That's a nice gold chain. I really like that." And the waiter, who was trying to be helpful and serve him, was kind of like, "Huh." And every time he came back, he just kept talking about the necklace. And the woman was like, "I think that's really weird." And I was like, "I think it's weird too. And I don't want to represent him anymore." And I just said, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And I got away from it.
Period, Lord.
But anytime I hear anything that is strange or somebody doesn't treat somebody well or along those lines, I'm like, get out of here.
You're done.
That's why you're the Carolina matchmaker. Lori, we want to thank you so much. Such a wealth of knowledge. And if people want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
I'm on all socials at Carolina's Matchmaker. They can fill out a profile on carolinasmatchmaker.com. It's complimentary. You could be a potential client or a match for one of my clients, and that would be complimentary. And you can give me a call too. My phone number's on the website.
Lori, as always, you're a wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much.
This was fun.
Really, really appreciate you having us here on the podcast. That is going to do it here for our episode of Unhinged. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll be back with a little more tips and tricks and horror stories next time.
Thank you.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.